It was Monday morning, and the office of Westbrook Innovations buzzed with the usual mix of ringing phones, clacking keyboards, and half-asleep employees nursing coffee. The new guy walked in quietly. His name was Ethan Cole, tall, calm, and dressed simply in a plain shirt and jeans. He didn't look like someone important. No fancy suit, no shiny shoes, no loud introduction. Just a soft smile as he walked to the front desk. "Hi, I'm the new hire," Ethan said. The receptionist, Samantha, barely looked up from her phone. "HR will get you. Sit there." Ethan nodded and sat quietly, watching the people around him. He didn't seem nervous, just curious. Like he was watching a play, and everyone was acting. Soon, Rachel Green arrived. She was one of the top employees, smart, confident, and known for her sharp tongue. She spotted Ethan sitting there, looking calm and a little lost. "Oh great," Rachel muttered to her friend Lily. "Another newbie. Probably doesn't know anything. This will be fun." She walked up to Ethan, hands on her hips. "So, rookie," she said with a smirk. "You ready to be buried in work? This isn't high school. You better keep up." Ethan smiled politely. "I'll do my best." Rachel rolled her eyes. "Cute. Let's see if you can survive the week." Everyone nearby chuckled. Some shook their heads. This was normal. Rachel loved teasing new hires. But Ethan didn't look embarrassed. He didn't look angry either. He just smiled like he knew something no one else did. As the day went on, Ethan stayed quiet. He asked questions, took notes, and watched everything. He wasn't flashy, but there was something about the way he carried himself, calm, focused, like he had seen this all before. During lunch, Rachel joked again. "Careful, newbie, this company eats weak people alive." Ethan just nodded. "Good thing I'm not weak." The room went silent for a second. His tone was calm but confident. Then everyone laughed again, thinking he was joking. What no one knew was that Ethan wasn't just a new employee. He wasn't here to fit in. He was here to watch, to see how the company was running, because Westbrook Innovations was his company. He was the hidden owner. And Rachel Green had just mocked the man who signed her paycheck. The next morning, Ethan arrived earlier than most of the staff. He sat at his desk, quietly sipping coffee, reading through company files on his laptop. No one knew those files weren't training materials. They were private reports only top executives had access to. Rachel walked in late, as usual, and spotted Ethan. "Oh wow," she said sarcastically. "Look at Mr. Perfect, early on his second day. Trying to impress someone." Ethan just smiled. "Just wanted to get a head start." Rachel smirked. "Don't work too hard, newbie. No one will notice." But someone was noticing. Ethan noticed everything. How Rachel treated interns like servants, how she took credit for her teammate Lily's ideas, and how she cut corners to look good in front of management. At 10 a.m., the team gathered for their weekly meeting. The manager, Tom Reynolds, wasn't there yet. While waiting, Rachel decided to have some fun. "Hey, newbie," she said, tossing a messy pile of reports at Ethan. "Sort these before the meeting. If you mess up, it's on you." Lily frowned. "Rachel, that's not his job." Rachel waved her off. "Relax, he needs to learn." Ethan didn't argue. He calmly sorted through the papers, fixing Rachel's mistakes along the way. When Tom finally arrived, Ethan handed him the corrected reports. Tom's eyes widened. Who fixed this? These numbers were a disaster last week. Rachel quickly spoke up. Oh, I. Ethan did, Lily interrupted. Tom nodded, impressed. Good work, Ethan. Rachel's fake smile froze. She didn't like being upstaged, especially by a rookie. After the meeting, Rachel cornered Ethan near the break room. Listen, newbie, she said coldly. Don't try to make me look bad. I've been here for years. You just got here. Stay in your lane. Ethan looked her in the eyes, calm as ever. I'm not here to make anyone look bad, he said. But if there's a problem, maybe the problem isn't me. Rachel scoffed and stormed off, her pride wounded. That night, Ethan stayed late, walking through the empty office. He looked at the employee performance reports, financial charts, and complaint logs. The company had good people, hard-working people, but some of its best workers were being pushed down by toxic behavior. He decided something right there. Tomorrow, he wouldn't just watch. Tomorrow, he would start testing people. And Rachel Green would be the first. The next morning, Ethan arrived with a quiet plan. He asked the manager, Tom, for permission to sit in on different departments that week, saying it would help him understand the workflow. Tom, still impressed by Ethan's sharp eye on the reports, agreed without hesitation. Ethan spent the day quietly moving between teams, watching how everyone worked when they thought no one important was looking. By noon, he was back in Rachel's department. Hey rookie, Rachel said, still annoyed from yesterday. Since you like fixing reports so much, here, do this one. It's a mess. She threw another stack of papers on his desk. But this time, Ethan noticed something troubling. The numbers weren't just wrong. They were manipulated. Rachel had changed the numbers to make her project look more successful than it really was. Ethan didn't call her out. Not yet. Instead, he quietly corrected the data, leaving a note at the bottom. Real numbers show a 22% loss. Adjust before presentation. When Rachel saw the note later, her face turned red. She marched over to Ethan. Who do you think you are? You're not in charge here. Ethan looked calm, but there was steel in his voice. I'm just making sure the company gets the truth. Isn't that what we're here for? Rachel clenched her jaw and stormed away. But her anger didn't stop her from using Ethan's corrected numbers in the final report. By the end of the day, Ethan had quietly helped 3 different teams fix mistakes that could have cost the company thousands. He didn't ask for credit. He didn't brag. He just worked. That evening, Tom pulled him aside. You've been here 3 days and you've spotted problems we've missed for months. How did you get this good? Ethan smiled faintly. I've been in business for a long time. Tom nodded, impressed, but he had no idea just how true that was. Meanwhile, Rachel was fuming. She didn't like how everyone was praising the new guy. She started planning a way to put Ethan in his place. But Ethan was ready for her. The test was no longer just about watching. Tomorrow, he would push Rachel to show who she really was. The next day, Rachel came in with a fake smile plastered on her face. Morning, rookie, she said sweetly. Big presentation today. You'll help me get ready, won't you? Ethan nodded calmly. Of course. Rachel handed him a folder with all the project data. This needs to be perfect. And don't you dare correct anything this time. Just do what I say. Ethan glanced at the files. The numbers were wrong again. Rachel had inflated the results to make herself look like the company's top performer. Sure, Ethan said quietly. But he didn't do what she asked. Instead, he printed two versions of the report. One with Rachel's fake numbers. One with the real, corrected data. When the meeting began, the entire department gathered in the conference room. Tom, the manager, was there. Even the regional director, Mr. Hayes, had come to sit in. This was an important day and Rachel was ready to shine. She stood confidently at the front of the room. Thanks to my leadership, we've seen incredible growth this quarter, she said proudly, clicking through slides. Everyone nodded. The numbers looked amazing. But then Ethan, still sitting quietly at the side of the room, raised his hand. "Excuse me," he said politely. "I think there's been a mistake. These aren't the real numbers." The room went silent. Rachel froze. "What are you talking about?" Ethan stood and placed the second report, the real one, on the table. "These are the actual results. If you check the logs, you'll see the system data matches this, not what's on the slides." Tom grabbed the report, scanning it quickly. His face went pale. "He's right. These are the true numbers." Rachel's face turned red. "That's a lie. He's just trying to make me look bad." But Mr. Hayes, the regional director, was already pulling up the database on his tablet. After a moment, he looked up at Rachel, his voice cold. "The numbers were changed. And they were changed under your login." The room gasped. Rachel's voice cracked. I just wanted the project to look good." "That's enough," Mr. Hayes said firmly. "We value honesty here more than fake success." Rachel sank into her chair, humiliated. Ethan stayed calm, not gloating, not smiling. He simply sat back down, letting the silence do the work. Tom turned to Ethan. "Thank you for catching this. You may have just saved the company from making a very expensive mistake." Everyone in the room was looking at Ethan differently now. He wasn't just the quiet new guy anymore, he was someone who had just changed the game. But the biggest shock of all was still coming. Because tomorrow, Ethan wasn't just going to reveal the truth about Rachel. He was going to reveal who he really was. The next morning, the office felt different. Rachel's chair was empty. She had been suspended for her actions. Whispers floated through the hallways about the new guy who caught the problem no one else saw. When Ethan walked in, everyone's eyes followed him. He still wore his plain shirt and calm smile, but now there was something about him that made people sit straighter. At 10 a.m., Tom called everyone into the conference room. The regional director, Mr. Hayes, was there too, looking serious. "Before we begin," Mr. Hayes said, "I'd like to introduce someone important. Ethan Cole isn't just a new employee. He's been working here under special circumstances." Everyone looked confused. Mr. Hayes smiled slightly and gestured to Ethan. "Would you like to tell them yourself?" Ethan stood, hands in his pockets, speaking in the same calm voice he always used. "My name is Ethan Cole. I'm not just here as a trainee. I'm the owner of Westbrook Innovations." The room went dead silent. Lily's jaw dropped. Tom blinked like he hadn't heard him correctly. Ethan continued, "I started this company 5 years ago, but I stepped away to build our next branch. I wanted to come back quietly, to see how things were running, not from the top, but from the ground." He looked around the room, making eye contact with everyone. "What I saw told me two things: we have some of the hardest working people I've ever met, and we also have some problems we need to fix. Starting today, that changes." The employees exchanged glances. Some looked nervous, others relieved. Ethan smiled warmly. No one here should fear speaking the truth. If you work hard, you will be rewarded. If you cheat, or push others down to get ahead, you won't last here. We're building something bigger than just profits. We're building a place where honesty and teamwork win. The tension in the room melted into applause. Lily smiled proudly. Even Tom looked impressed and maybe a little intimidated. As everyone left the room, Ethan caught Lily by the door. You spoke up yesterday when Rachel tried to take credit, he said. That took courage. How would you like a promotion? Lily's eyes went wide. Really? Really, Ethan said with a grin. This company needs more people like you. Later that day, as Ethan looked out over the office from his corner window, he smiled. The company was back on track, and this time, it would be stronger than ever. And as for Rachel? She was gone for good. The new employee had just reminded everyone who really ran the company.